Alrighty, everybody, welcome back to the live stream here on the channel. Hopefully everybody's having a fantastic, I don't know what day it is, Monday? I think it's a Monday. You know what? I actually got to check. I don't even know what day. Okay, it is a Monday. I hope everyone's having a great Monday, which is a little difficult to have, but hopefully you're having a great Monday so far. Let's see what we have in the chat. We have Caleb, we have Sam, Indiana, Raven, we have Armstrong, Randall, Brooklyn, let's see, Maury, Haley, and everybody else who is in the chat, may be watching and may not be chatting. Glad to have you in here as well, Ponderosa, Liam, and everyone else who is watching. Let's go ahead and switch on over to our main scene here. Welcome, Xeon and Jax. Glad to have you guys in here as well. Yeah, Radar Omega is still having its good old issues out there. Alerts haven't loaded well for the last 4 or 5 days, Caleb, so it's not just you. They're taking like 5 to 10 minutes just to load a few alerts, and it's very, very delayed. All right, let's start with some official products, and the first one I actually want to show you is probably the one of the more important ones that we've looked at for this winter storm, because it is our WSSI, our Winter Storm Severity Index. And it's not something we've been able to use because it hasn't been in range. And now it is, thanks to our event being literally tomorrow and into Wednesday. So the Weather Prediction Center's WSSI here, which is basically saying it's your impacts for general areas. And you could see they have actually gone with a very large, this thing's gone with a very large major impact area, a level 4 out of 5 there in the red, all the way from the entirety of the Houston metro through Beaumont, Texas, through, I pronounced that wrong. I forgot what it was. Ben told me yesterday, but I forgot already. Lake Charles, Louisiana, Lafayette, Louisiana, Baton Rouge, New Orleans. You guys are all inside that moderate risk 4 out of 5. And Lafayette, if you look here, is actually inside that extreme impact level 5 out of 5 for overall impact. So that's where we start talking about literally impossible driving conditions, extensive and widespread closures and disruptions to the infrastructure, and life-saving actions may be needed in Lafayette, Louisiana. That is how extreme of a winter storm we are talking about here in the southern side of the United States. And that's not only just because of our snow totals, but it's also due to the location. This also based things off of location. So say 6 inches of snowfall up in like New York City, that's going to probably cause some moderate impacts, a level 3 out of 5. but 6 inches of snowfall out here in like Houston or Lafayette or New Orleans, that will cause extreme 5 out of 5 impacts because these areas are not used to seeing this type of snowfall ever. I mean, the last time we had snow accumulations potentially up to 6 inches out here in Louisiana was, well, never. We haven't seen it before. You got to go all the way back to 1895 to find records of snowfall in this area actually being recorded in terms of a widespread snowstorm. New Orleans did see some measurable snowfall around, what was it, like 2.5 inches of snow? I think they saw about 2.5 inches of snow back in 2004, but that was over 20 years ago. So in order to find a more widespread snowstorm like the one we are going to see tomorrow, you got to go all the way back to 1895 for that type of snowstorm, which is, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that's about 120 years ago, maybe even more. I think that's 130. I'm not the best with math. I'm like lucky when it comes to math. I'm not too good at it. 120, 130 years ago was the last time we saw a widespread snowstorm to this extent in this portion of the country. We could be talking about record-breaking snow totals across eastern Texas, most of southern Louisiana, southern Mississippi, southern Alabama, and Florida. Florida's statewide record for snow totals that I found was 2.8 inches of snowfall recorded in the Tallahassee's National Weather Service jurisdiction area, and that was dated back to, oh shoot, I can't remember it. I looked it up before this live stream. I'm going to have to look it up again. Actually, it's still right there in my search bar. 1954 was the last time we saw around 3 inches of snowfall anywhere in the state of Florida. So that is about 70-ish years ago or so, and we could be talking about potentially even getting up to about 6 to 7 inches of snowfall. So literally doubling that record in portions of the panhandle of Florida. So it is going to be it will break some records, but it will most likely break a lot of records out here in the southern U.S. So I just wanted to show you guys this map because it's definitely not every decade you see the Weather Prediction Center talking about extreme impacts in portions of Louisiana. And this far south, too. I mean, this is really, really far south. Like, literally, the ocean's going to be able to see some snow out of this system. That's how far south we're talking about. The Gulf of Mexico could get snow. I actually want to show that. This is the model run that I think is handling this system the best. It's actually the NAM 3K model run. And look at this, Tuesday afternoon, we could actually get snow into the Gulf of Mexico there, just off the coastline of southeastern Texas, southwestern Louisiana. But this is the model run that I personally think is handling this event the best, which is ironically one of the worst model runs typically. It's the NAM 3K model run. And the reason why I think it's handling it the best is because it perfectly merges with our low pressure off the coast of Florida, and that allows for snow totals that the National Weather Service is forecasting to actually be realized on this particular model run. So when it comes to accuracy, we're probably going to be using the NAM 3K today. The HRRR, I think, is one of the worst model runs now. The GFS is finally started to become in agreement with other model runs, and now our high-resolution rapid refresh, typically praised for one of the better model runs we have, looks to be the worst one right now. I believe it's the only one that's not showing this system connecting up into the Carolinas that well. It has uptrended for sure, but it doesn't show it nearly as potent as pretty much every other model run. The NAM 3K model run, the NAM model, the GFS model, the European model run, the Canadian model run. They all, well, this one's not pulled out far enough. They all show more snowfall. The Canadian actually is doing pretty bad here. When I looked yesterday, it's a little bit too far south. That's what it is. You can still see it has a lot of snowfall along the South Carolina coastline, but not into North Carolina. So Canadian model run not really doing too well there in terms of agreeing with our other model runs. I do want to check really quick, though. Let me look at the HRRR and then compare that to the best we can, which is not too well, to the Canadian. They look similar in Louisiana, but they do not look similar along the coastline of the southeastern U.S. I also think the HRRR is it's not really too far south. It's just not as potent enough with its snowfall totals in portions of central Louisiana up into Mississippi and this whole area here. I don't feel like it's registering snow totals that well in that region. But who knows, maybe this will end up verifying. But like I said, right now, I think the NAM 3K model run is going to be the one that I watch the most in terms of accuracy. I think this one's going to be able to nail it. And that also brings me to ice accumulation here as well. I know someone in the chat yesterday was talking about ice accumulation. It does seem like we could see an ice storm out here in northern Florida, like that person was saying. Yesterday, it only showed up on really the Canadian model run, but now it's really beginning to show up on our high-resolution model runs. See what the HRRR has? HRRR has it as well. So I'm pretty sure all of our main model runs, the NAM 3K, the HRRR, what about the RAP? The RAP doesn't show it as much. But generally, most of our model runs show an ice storm possible in this corridor here in southeastern Georgia into northern Florida, into the Panhandle as well. I haven't heard anything about that, Haley, honestly. I don't know if that's true or not. So let me go over here to Radar Omega, the app that's been bugging out like crazy over the last 2 weeks or so. A lot more glitches have occurred with it. I'm not going to turn off the warnings because if I turn them off, I have a feeling I might not get them back. This is their new forecast. They actually upped that a lot. Widespread 7 to 8 inches of snowfall out here from Lake Charles all the way up into Baton Rouge. I imagine this just hasn't loaded in yet. See how it's a sharp cutoff, so I imagine we're just going to have to get one more frame to load that in, which will be very late tonight. That will register in on the official forecast. But, I mean, this is all record-breaking. Like, literally, I'm quite sure most of these snowfall totals that they are forecasting is record-breaking. Like I said, Florida's the most the state of Florida has ever seen is 2.8 inches of snowfall, which was in the Tallahassee's jurisdiction area. And now you're looking at widespread 4 inches of snowfall across all the way from Pensacola back up here towards north of Panama City. And even still, potentially up to an inch or two all the way into Tallahassee. And this is the official forecast once again. And they've also upped snowfall totals. If you remember, yesterday we looked at this, and they actually barely even had snow forecast. You guys are on the wrong scene. They actually only had like half an inch to an inch of snowfall forecasted in this area. They've put that right back up to 4.5, 5 inches of snowfall forecasted in this region. And they've gone ahead and they have issued those winter storm watches for the far coastal areas of North Carolina, all the way from Wilmington, all the way up towards Kitty Hawk, Elizabeth City in North Carolina. We may see those watches get extended even further into Virginia Beach. Let's go ahead and switch back over to our official forecast. I actually haven't looked at that. They might end up issuing watches up for Virginia Beach, but it looks like our snow totals are probably going to be pretty low up there. So we'll see about that, but that's pretty much as far as our watches are going to go. We might see one county extension into Virginia Beach, Virginia there, but relatively these are all the watches and warnings we're going to be getting out of this system, which is still crazy. We've got winter storm warnings in effect way down here as far south as Texas goes. And then that goes up into San Antonio, Texas, Austin, Texas, Houston, Texas, College Station, Texas, also into the Port Arthur area. These are very coastal regions under those winter storm warnings. I mean, holy cow. Literally, this is the area that got hit by Beryl, which was a hurricane in 2024's hurricane season. And now we're talking about snow in the exact same area. Of course, this is like whole 8 months later. Beryl happened in July 2024, which is ridiculous to think about. That's already like 7-ish months ago. But point being is this area doesn't really see snow often. I'm actually going to look up. I remember I looked it up yesterday, but I forgot. What is the most snow Houston has seen? Let's see. Wow, okay, so this will definitely not be historic for, like, Houston. Houston managed to get 20 inches of snowfall back from that super snowstorm in 1895. We definitely will not be nearing those totals here in Houston, I can tell you that. We're not going to be getting anywhere close to 20 inches of snow for Houston. But watch this. If I do, like, say, Baton Rouge, Louisiana, I bet it's going to be, like, 4. Maybe not even that. Okay, well, they got 12 back in 1895. It's that same snowstorm. And now New Orleans, I know for a fact, I swear, if this is like changed or something, New Orleans was like 4 inches. This still says, okay, this says like 4.5. You know what would be great? If there was just one website that told me all of our snow totals in recorded history for everywhere. Shreveport's was 11 inches of snowfall, but they probably won't even get flurries out of this. So this will be historic for a lot of areas. And you know what? Baton Rouge, how much was Baton Rouge? 12 inches of snowfall in Baton Rouge. We might actually be able to get a little close to that. Personally, I really don't think we're going to be as far off as you may think from that. If we look at our snowfall totals here on the HRRR, we'll also look at the NAM3K. Yeah, look how far south that is. So this brings like 7 inches of snowfall into New Orleans and 4 inches of snowfall into Baton Rouge. But let's look at the NAM3K, which I think is handling this much better. And you can see around that area, it shows from about 4 to 8 inches of snowfall in and around Baton Rouge. And then look at that, south of Lake Charles, over a foot. Over a foot. Oh my goodness. I mean, it's different. Now for Baton Rouge, apparently the total is 3.5 inches of snowfall. But here on this side, it says 12 inches of snowfall. Point being is it's definitely going to be the most memorable snowstorm we've had in a long time. It may not be the most snow Baton Rouge has seen in history, but I mean, the last time you guys saw snowfall that was potentially up into the, we could be looking at as high as the double digits, was way back, like I said, in 1895. New Orleans' last snowstorm was back in 2008 when they had 1 inch of snow. 1 inch of snow was a snowstorm for New Orleans. And this one, if we look at the forecast, they are calling for, let's see what they're calling for. Oh, wow, they've upped that. 3 to 7. That used to be 1 to 3. That is now 3 to 7 inches of snowfall across New Orleans being a possibility there. They're expecting a minimum of 3 and possibly up to 7 across New Orleans. So we're definitely going to get the most snowfall we've seen out in this area in probably about a century or so. Whether or not we actually beat the super snowstorm back in 1895, I actually don't even... I'm going to look at a map of that. 1895 snow totals. Let's go over here. This is the National Weather Service's site. Since that seems to be the snowstorm that the records we're trying to break out here in the southern U.S. Let's see. Gracious day. Yeah, so this is definitely the snowstorm that we're going to have to try to beat here. I don't think we're going to be beating some of these totals. The one back in February 14th and 15th in 1895, almost 2 feet of snow over Lake Charles, over a foot in Baton Rouge, over a foot in Lafayette, about half a foot in New Orleans, or actually rather 8.2 inches of snow in New Orleans, 10 inches of snow in Hammond. I don't think we're going to be getting that. So this will be the most snow we've seen in about a century out in this area, but it won't be completely record-shattering for this region. Let me go over to the National Weather Service's New Orleans site. Come on, National Weather Service site, you can load. Oh my goodness, my computer is going a little slow here. Okay, there we go. Let's go see Louisiana. And let's go look at winter graphics. Okay. Got it. I'm trying to find the high-end snowfall forecast here from the National Weather Service in Lake Charles, but I'm not able to right now for some reason. Winter. Okay, there we go. Yeah, so they have the highest amount of snow possible, which is a 1 in 10% or a 10% chance of happening. So we have a 10% chance of seeing 9 inches of snow in Lake Charles, 9 inches of snow in Lafayette, 8 inches of snow across Baton Rouge, and that is your 10% chance there. But your actual expected snow totals look to be from about 7 to right around 7 to 8 inches of snow. So it looks like the only snowstorm this is really comparable to is that super snowstorm in 1895, which nobody is, no one's going to remember that. I mean, that's literally 120 some years ago. So this is definitely going to be the biggest snowstorm the southern United States has seen in recent memory. I wouldn't be listening to the HRRR. I don't feel like it's a good model run right now to listen to. And I said that about the GFS model run, and now the GFS has fixed itself. The GFS model run has finally fixed itself with its snow totals and the overall winter storm potential. So we'll see if our 0Z HRRR fixes itself. 11 years ago, Caleb. Pretty sure it was 11 years ago. The last time they had to issue winter storm warnings, and that was for ice. Not actually for solid snow accumulation. This time, for Tallahassee, the eastern portion out here is for very low snow accumulation and mainly ice. But the western side out here, like I said, closer towards like Pensacola, which I believe it switches to, I think that's Mobile's jurisdiction. Does it switch to Mobile? I'm not going to be able to tell, huh? Oh, shoot. Now I got to go look at the National Weather Services. Yeah, so I'm pretty sure this is the National Weather Service in Mobile's jurisdiction here, which is actually into Florida. And they have issued that for up to 5 inches of snowfall, which is historic. If we see 5 inches of snowfall in Pensacola, that would be the most snow we've ever seen in the entire state of Florida. So, like I said, not the whole area is not going to get historic snowfall. This whole region won't get historic snowfall. Most of it's going to end up with the most snowfall they've seen, and especially in this general area here, the most snow they've seen in over a century. But actual historic snowfall totals are going to be very, very scattered. We may break a record, say, just for instance, not actually forecasting it, but say like Gulfport might break a record, Pensacola may break a record, whereas like Mobile may not break a record. So it's going to be very specific regions that might actually break their record. It won't be like a very large area that breaks their entire records of snowfall. But who knows, maybe we get a crazy band that ends up setting up somewhere and it does break an entire, state's record. Which, like I said, I think if that happens, it's going to be probably Florida. I think we could actually break Florida's state record for snowfall. Let's see if the HRRR's trended ever which way. The newest HRRR has already trended more north. 22Z has already trended more north. Which I'm not surprised about. It's actually trended considerably more north, like a full county more north with the heaviest snowfall totals, which is a big difference. That is a big, big difference. So I think the HRRR 0Z is going to be more accurate. Right now, the 18Z is just, I'm not even going to really bother looking at it. I may look at it here and there, but It's really not something I'm going to look at. What time will Mississippi start to see snow? So, far southern and far southwestern Mississippi should begin to see snow probably about 7 a.m. tomorrow morning. Right around 7 a.m. tomorrow morning. Our heaviest snowfall totals will definitely be focused further south. This region here has that best opportunity to see the highest snowfall totals. So if you're like barely north of Gulfport, this region right in here, I think, has that best opportunity to see probably around 5 inches of snowfall. What are they officially forecasting? Let's see here. Yep, up to 5 inches of snowfall. 1 to 3, widespread 1 to 3 inches of snowfall, and up to 5 inches of snow. Yeah, we saw this very far out, but you can only recognize the pattern from that far out, and that's what we did. We knew somebody was going to see a snowstorm somewhere in the southern or maybe central U.S., generally in this area here, but we had zero clue how far south it would be. You can always, from like 2-3 weeks out, you can, generally recognize what pattern you're going into to see if it's favorable for snow, but in terms of specifics, I mean, geez, we're like, what, 8 hours away or less until winter storm impacts begin, and there's still uncertainty. Yeah, our main snow begins around 1-2 a.m. early tomorrow morning in eastern Texas, and we still got a lot of uncertainty in terms of exact snow totals. Oh, I wanted to look at the official forecast for where was it? Southern Mississippi. No, winter. Winter. There we go. Okay. So this is the official database from the National Weather Service. Let's see what they're calling for. So they are indeed calling for about 3.5-4 inches of snowfall out here. I'm curious if that's record-breaking. What is the most snow Gulfport, Mississippi has seen? Oh, yeah, 7 inches of snow. We ain't gonna get close to that. But the last time that was recorded was December 31st, 1963. I'm going to go look at that snowstorm. Oh, wow. That dropped a crazy amount of snow over eastern Mississippi. Jeez. Yeah, so it seems like about once every 50 years or so, we get a snowstorm that impacts a specific area in the southern US. But notice how once we're jumping from record to record here, like out here in this area, it was back in 1885 or so. This region was like 1963. And then the last time we saw measurable snowfall in like New Orleans was back in 2004, with their record being well before that. So it's not like it's been one snowstorm that sweeps across this area. This is going to be one snowstorm that moves across this entire region and brings very heavy snowfall to this whole area in here. Whereas for those records that we looked at, it was like a snowstorm here that brought the record. It wasn't like one big snowstorm like this, where it was able to sweep across the whole southern U.S. and break records. For instance, what did I look at? Like 1960, what date was that? 1960 something? 1963. That snowstorm focused on eastern Mississippi into Alabama, and then obviously back up into Tennessee. But this region is literally along the coastline. Like, it's literally along the shorelines of the southern United States. And that's what makes it even crazier. This is just not something we've seen in such a long time, where we see such a large area right on the coastline of the United States getting this type of snow totals. But definitely going to be a historic snowstorm, like I think, or rather, like I said, I think it's going to be the most historic for probably the panhandle of Florida. I think that area has the best chance to break their record. But in terms of impacts, it's definitely going to be central Louisiana. This whole area in here is going to get the worst impacts. All the way from the border of Louisiana and Texas, all the way through New Orleans, up towards almost Gulfport, Mississippi. Tyler, Texas. Let's see here. I'm going to have to look that up. I've forgotten where that's located. Yeah, you're looking at flurries at best. It's going to be a very, very sharp cutoff line towards the north. If we take a look here at our most reasonable scenario, which is portrayed by the NAM3K, let me just show you how sharp the cutoff line is here. So you can see as we go towards like 9 a.m. tomorrow morning, you've got a very sharp cutoff line over central Louisiana into Mississippi. So it's going to be a very sharp cutoff line. But once it first forms, like say towards midnight tonight, 11 p.m. tonight, that's going to be your only real chance of snow as far north as Tyler, Texas. You might get some flurries, but it won't be anything like widespread snow. Gracious day. Yeah, that definitely interacts with our second low pressure very, very well. And you can see that ice storm potential here in the pink in north central Florida into the panhandle towards Tallahassee, Florida. And then back up towards Savannah, Georgia. But notice how, like I said, the far western panhandle of Florida, like near Pensacola, is just complete snow on this model run. How much does that drop? I'm curious. 5.5, almost 6 inches of snow. And then in Pensacola, geez, almost 9 inches of snow in Pensacola, Florida on this model run. And the most snow they have ever seen was about 2.3 inches of snow. So that's where your records are probably going to be shattered. The western panhandle of Florida into southern Alabama. That's probably where this snowstorm is going to be able to make historic snow totals. And then, like I said, in terms of impacts, it's going to be the most impactful snowstorm here in central Louisiana in probably about a century. Let's see. Warner Robins, Georgia. You're in a winter storm warning for up to 2 inches of snowfall. Their official forecast is about 2 inches of snowfall as well. So, oops, this is not the official forecast. My bad. Up to 2 inches of snowfall. And let's see the pinpoint forecast here. There you go, 1.5. There we go. That was a model run I looked at just a second ago. Good thing I caught that right away. So the pinpoint forecast is 1.5 inches of snowfall with them calling for up to 2. I knew that was a little aggressive for a forecast. Yeah, 60 inches, sure. Radar Mega really needs an update, man. It's starting to fall apart. The bugs are starting to go crazy and haywire. Columbus, Georgia. I remembered. That's about 2 inches. Oh, yeah, 60. Never mind. Radar Mega says 60. No. 2 inches of snowfall right around Columbus, Georgia there. Yeah, they're calling for 1 to 3 inches of snowfall. The pinpoint forecast is directly in the middle at 2. So that's your forecast from the National Weather Service there. So this is not going to be the official forecast I show you here in just a minute. I want to show you the National Blend of Model Runs forecast. So this is taking a bunch of model runs and compiling it into a most likely case scenario. It is not an official forecast, but you can see how the national blend of model runs shows a large area of double digits. Most of this orange area is 9 to 10 inches of snowfall, and that is across much of central, south central Louisiana, which again, this area hasn't seen this type of snowfall in well over a century. So you're definitely looking at about a once in a lifetime snowstorm out here in central and southern Louisiana. And again, this is not an official forecast. This is the blend of models. So what this means is, like I said, it compiles a bunch of model runs into a single map for you to understand, and it averages them all out. Now, this could mean that the National Weather Service may actually increase their snow totals slightly out here. You saw that they were calling for... Actually, they already increased it. Yeah, they already increased it. I forgot. Earlier this morning, they were calling for widespread 4.5 to 5 inches of snowfall, and now they've upped it to widespread 7 to 8 inches of snowfall. I forgot they already upped it. They probably won't put it much more higher than that, and unless these ensemble, or rather, unless these this blend gets a lot, and I mean a lot higher, I don't think they're gonna increase snow totals beyond about 7.5 to 8 inches of snowfall expected. Go over here. Model runs. I'm using a different site to look at the national blend of models here. And this is in the South Central US, which this site doesn't even have the South Central US for the national blend of model runs because it's typically used for snow. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to just choose a state. If I can find Louisiana on here. Oh, there it is. Snowfall. Oh, we're actually getting a new run of this. Alright, yeah, this is correct. I wanted to see if this was the correct national blend of models here. I mean, that's just crazy. It looks like confidence is probably highest right in from about the Baton Rouge area back towards just west of Lafayette. This corridor here. Is that like an interstate that runs through there? What is that? Let's see if that's an interstate or something. That is I-70 or I-10? I-10. I promise I'm not fully blind. Yeah, I-10. So like literally right on the I-10 corridor is the highest amount of confidence in 6 to 8 inches of snowfall. That's crazy. That's where the highest amount of confidence is in 6 to 8 inches of snowfall, if not potentially greater than that. It looks like the heaviest snowfall out here in Louisiana will definitely be between about 7 a.m. till about 4 p.m. tomorrow. That will be the heaviest amount of snowfall in this corridor as well. What about... Let me go look at this forecast as well. Yeah, so we're definitely going to have to wait a little bit longer for this here. This is the national... I forgot what it's called already. National Digital Forecast Database, their official forecast. And you can see it just simply doesn't go out one more frame. It keeps glitching like that. So we'll have to wait for them to issue a new forecast, which I think will be in about an hour and a half, maybe. I think in about an hour and a half, they'll be able to issue that new forecast. The last one was at 18Z, so it should be, if they keep up their 6-hour forecast, it should be in about an hour and a half, if not less. Within the next hour, 20 minutes. So I'll keep an eye out for that. See if that gets issued here. But, alright. Well, that's everything I really wanted to go over. We really went over everything I wanted to, which was mainly the two things I really wanted to go over was that blend of models, which we went over just a minute ago, the forecast database, as well as the NAM3K and the WSSI. I did all four of those. I'll also show you guys the official Weather Prediction Center site here. So this is what they are officially forecasting here for literally in 20 minutes. They're forecasting a large area with the potential of some snowfall. Now, this doesn't have like heavy snowfall, and it's not expected to be snow, but it is possible that we see snow in that area within the next 30 minutes or so. Then as we go into very late tonight, this is getting towards like 3 a.m. or so Eastern, we'll start seeing that winter storm actually form in most of Texas into Louisiana. Tomorrow morning towards 7 a.m., that's when our winter storm is definitely ongoing. This is when it would be a major winter storm. And you can see the heaviest snow will definitely be focused into southern Mississippi, far southeastern Texas, and a good chunk of central southern Louisiana. Not much, well, there's some ice. I was trying to look for the ice color. You can see the ice color right in here, that darker orange. So they are expecting some ice with this as well as we go into tomorrow morning. Tomorrow towards 2 p.m., this is actually 1 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Eastern. We'll continue to see that very heavy snowfall across portions of Louisiana into southern Mississippi, into southern Alabama, southwestern Georgia, and the panhandle of far western Florida. Tomorrow night towards 7 p.m., that snow will begin to shift off into the mid-Atlantic states in the far southeastern U.S., could see snow as far as up towards Long Island. However, I doubt we'll actually see it that far to the north. Most likely, our snow will be sticking towards this very small corridor here tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern. And then by Wednesday morning, we could have some very remnant leftover snowfall behind the system, but that snow will be gone very, very, very quickly. And then Thursday, not really much to speak of on Thursday. Friday, not much to speak of. Saturday, and then finally, we'll start talking about another system on Sunday and Monday. I don't think that is going to end up bringing a big, severe threat like the CFS model run was wanting to show. It looks like it could still be a little severe threat, but I don't see that being a big, severe threat. So we'll keep an eye on it just in case. There's still, of course, that signal there. I just don't see it being a significant threat right now. I mean, yeah, the winter storm is beginning now, but it's not really fully going to take shape till 3 a.m. Like, you can see the moisture being pulled up here from the Gulf of Mexico. It's being flung up here. You can see that cold air pushing down already. So it's definitely forming. Let me figure out where that front is. Yep. That cold air has really begun to push down. Gracious day. How cold is it right now? I'm going to go look at observations really quick. Forecast tools. Geez, yeah. I mean, the only area where that cold air isn't in place is like extreme southern Texas. You're already into the 20s, and most of Texas is into the freezing point now. The only area that doesn't have freezing temps is like this region right in here. Let's see if you guys can see that. Yep. That's the only area that's not at freezing. The rest of Texas is freezing, with a couple areas in Texas actually getting into the mid-20s now. And the northern panhandle of Texas is into the teens. Even single digits up here north of Amarillo, Texas. Gracious. Let me go see. I haven't looked at our future pattern for snowstorms. I've really been focused in on this one. Are they forecasting snow? Yeah, they are forecasting snow in far northeastern Ohio on Sunday, the 26th. I would watch for that. It looks like some models are in agreement of snow chances in Ohio and Indiana on that day. So we'll keep an eye on around the 27th of January. We're definitely going to have a lot more shots at winter storms in the U.S. Winter is definitely not even close to over yet. I'm going to check the ensembles really quick. There we go. Yeah, I would definitely be watching this area right in here. It looks like that's where we have the best chance for snowstorms going towards the end of January. So that would be into most of the Midwestern U.S. I don't think I would put that any more further south because there's not really good agreement. There's definitely not good agreement in a snowstorm. It's just an area we're going to watch. Yeah, there's not good agreement at all in like a widespread snowstorm. That's why they do have snow possible in this area, but it's not really widespread at all. It's a very confined region of snow chance. So we're going to have a lot more opportunities for snowstorms towards the end of January, beginning of February. Whether or not any of them actually happen, well, we got to wait till we're closer to talk about that. After this snowstorm tomorrow, though, I mean, there's really... We're gonna have a pretty good break. Snowstorm is going to be exiting the U.S. in the very early morning hours of the 22nd, which is Wednesday. And then we get all the way from the 22nd to the 26th, rather the 25th, without much activity. So a whole entire 3-day break. That's a lot to ask for from Mother Nature in 2025. That's a lot to ask for. Well, actually, we technically won't have a complete break because we do have back-to-back extremely critical fire risks out there in California again. If we look at our fire conditions here, today we have an extreme risk barely north of downtown LA, and then tomorrow that shifts a little bit more to the south, or actually a little bit more north. But what I meant was more south as in here. You could see it goes more south. So we get 2 different extreme risks for tomorrow. 2 of them. This is for fire, of course. That's a 3 out of 3. I'm pretty sure they do have a PDS something out here for, I think, damaging winds up to 100 again. I think they call them, what is it, like Santa Ana winds or something like that. I'm sorry, I don't study this area at all. Yeah, Santa Ana windstorm. Yep. It's what they call them. Wow, I'm surprised I remembered that. I'm really surprised I remembered that. This is not an area I forecast often whatsoever. We only look over there every now and then. Typically, it's for higher elevation snow or fires. In this case, it's fires. But yeah, if you guys are enjoying the live stream, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. If you have any questions, put them in the comments. I'll try to answer them. I know this live stream can get confusing every now and then, especially when I try to talk about specific regions, because there's still so much uncertainty out there. We're definitely not fully locked in with a double-digit snowstorm out here in Louisiana. And really no area is, well, I want to say Baton Rouge, like far southern Louisiana, is guaranteed to see significant impacts. Forecasts can change very, very quickly. And with this, it's literally like almost pretty much anything's possible. I mean, we've had model solutions go all the way from up to a foot of snowfall near Lake Charles to nearly nothing. So the forecast is definitely not completely locked in for very high-end snowfall totals in this whole area that you see here. I mean, for instance, the HRRR, literally, the NAM 3K has like a foot here. The HRRR has like 4 inches of snow. So that's such a large gap. So please remember that. Even though right now it looks like a very, very significant snowstorm. Hopefully it downtrends last second tomorrow. But right now, I mean, it looks like we're going to be seeing a more higher end major snowstorm out of this. But just make sure you're staying up to date with the National Weather Service's forecast because they do change often. Let's see here. Okay. Is let's see. Is that Florida, Caleb? Come on, you're a mod on the channel. I'd at least expect you to put the state name after it, dude. If we're talking about Florida, probably not. I would be pretty surprised to see warnings extend further south. I'm pretty surprised they're as far south as they already are. Let me check the... Shoot, can I check it on here? I don't know if I can. It would definitely be for freezing rain. Yes, I can check it. Okay. Yeah, see, no. It's all north. It's all north. If it would be for anything, it'd be for freezing rain, but it's not. I would be blown away if we see it as far south as that. I don't believe there's really going to be any model runs that show any type of winter impacts for that area. Maybe at most you could see an advisory for the opportunity of ice, but even that's pushing it. Who knows though? Maybe it will all trend south. Like I said, you got to watch these winter storms closely. This one has been particularly a pain in the tail to forecast. There was the one up in Kansas was a little difficult to forecast in terms of the exact placement of the highest totals of snowfall, but this one's just a pain in the tail for everywhere. I mean, there's not a single area that's locked in for snow totals in terms of what they're forecasting. You know, like right now, for instance, I bet this will change tomorrow morning, but right now they have, say, we'll choose Charleston. Charleston, they have about an inch and a half of snowfall happening in Charleston, South Carolina. By tomorrow morning, that could go down to 0. Or it could go as high as like 3 inches of snowfall. So, I mean, this whole area, literally anywhere in our winter storm, snow totals are going to change. We really don't know what's going to happen until it's already happened. And that's just what this winter storm has been like. And like I mentioned in yesterday's stream, it's just because of how rare it is. There's a few little analogs for this system. For instance, one pretty good one that we've been talking about was the super snowstorm in 1895. And then we found another recent one, which was 1963, I believe. But those are for like specific areas. I don't think we've ever had a winter storm that goes from like San Antonio through Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, Florida, South Carolina, up into the North Carolina, Virginia coastline. I don't know for sure, but I'm pretty sure we haven't seen that before, especially not one that could drop up to a foot of snowfall in some areas in central Louisiana. The National Weather Service has still noted that there is still a chance. It's a chance that we see up to a foot in some locations in south central Louisiana. It's a very low chance, though. I think it's like a whole 2%. So it's definitely not like a notable chance for a foot of snowfall. It's like 1 or 2%. So we'll be live tomorrow. We'll be live tomorrow to cover this. I don't know exactly when I'm gonna go live, honestly. I'm not sure how well I'm gonna cover this snowstorm. I'm pretty sure tomorrow's gonna be a school day for most people, so well, I mean, if you're in the southern US, I'm sure you're out of school. I actually haven't even looked at school cancellations, but we'll see. We'll see when we go live tomorrow. I think the most likely time we'll be live is... Let me check. I might aim for afternoon. I don't know exactly when. We'll see. I'll wing it. How about that? I'll just wing it. Make sure you have your notification bell on so that way YouTube will hopefully notify you. I don't know, YouTube, when have they ever consistently notified you? I mean, one day you'll end up with a notification of my live stream like Legacy said before, and it will be from like 8 months ago or something. It'll be from such a long time ago. So anyways, I appreciate you guys for tuning in. I'm going to head off here. I'll be live again tomorrow, hopefully for at least 2 hours. And I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Thank you for tuning in. I always love coming on here and updating you guys with more of severe weather, but I still enjoy winter weather. It's just a little more annoying because it's always a difficult forecast. It's always a difficult forecast. So I don't enjoy winter weather nearly as much as I do forecasting severe weather, but it's still simply fun due to the fact that I get to interact with you guys. So I'll be live at 4:99 p.m. tomorrow. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. I can't promise that, Caleb. I can't promise I'll be live at 4:99 p.m. It may be closer to, I don't know, 2:99, 1:99 p.m. Eastern. We'll see about it. But I'll be live at some point tomorrow. I'm planning to go live at some point tomorrow. But anyways, thank you guys so much for tuning in. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your Monday night. And definitely make sure those preparations are finished for your winter storm tomorrow. And I will see you guys in the next one, which should be between sometime tomorrow. According to Caleb, 1:99 p.m. I don't know what time that works out to. I can't do the math right now. Anyways, stay safe. I'll see you guys in tomorrow's live stream. And have a great night. Make sure to, like I said, make sure to leave a like on the live stream, subscribe, and stay safe out there. Goodbye. stay safe and watch the snowfall. See you guys in tomorrow's live stream. Have a great rest.